Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Fairy Tail chapters 475, 476, and 477, okay? Now, I was thinking about waiting to make this video until 478 came out, then I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to put it out now, and that'll be that, alright? So, first, let's start off by talking about this nonsense with Ultear, okay? Listen, this in no way does this make any sense at all. All right, I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Okay, she claims to only exist in the frozen valleys of time. That's how she's able to help them. What does that even mean? Exist in the frozen valleys of time? That literally makes no sense. First of all, it's not like you were sealed away. You're still alive. You're actually still alive. You're not even dead. You're alive. You don't only exist in that time, you exist in reality because you're alive. We even see her at the end of chapter at the end of chapter 476. We know she's still alive. So how does it make sense for her to only exist in the frozen valleys of time? And how can someone even exist in the frozen valleys of time? Okay, I get it. Her time was taken away from her. She got older. That, first of all, you have to take it incredibly literally for this to make any sense at all. Because when the stuff with Ultear first happened, all right, I assumed she just got her time fast. She said she lost her time. I thought she just meant like her time got fast forwarded and she just aged really quickly. I didn't know. In order for this to make sense, you have to take her literally, and where her time was literally taken away from her, and then her time ended up getting sealed away in the frozen valleys of time, which doesn't make any sense either. Because why would it be sealed? Like how would you seal something in frozen time? That doesn't even make sense. Like, frozen time isn't some place to seal things. Like, that doesn't like, like none of this makes any sense at all. Okay, and the kicker is that Ultear, after like maybe like a couple pages in the chapters, she says, while time is stopped, for whatever reason, I am able to exist in this form. So she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know why this makes sense. No one does. Hiramashima doesn't know, because if he knew how this made any sense, he would have explained it. Okay? They don't even know what's going on. It's just happening for the sake of having it happen. Okay? Like, Hiramashima and Ultear don't even know how this is possible. Alright? And then she goes into freaking, like, into a freaking Road to Ninja territory where she says that she's a concept, so she can't directly fight against Demaria. I'm just like, okay, what is this? Like, what is going on? Like, there are so many, like, the only way this makes sense, like I said before, is if you take her literally when her time gets sealed away. But like now, her time getting sealed away isn't even a real thing anymore. It's just a concept. So now, like, I don't know. There's so many jumps in logic here. It's hard to keep track of them all. And honestly, if I really tried, I may be able to make the slightest amount of sense out of this. But honestly, Fairy Tail isn't worth devoting all of that brain power to actually making sense of this. Because at the end of the day, all you have to do is say it's Fairy Tail, and that could just kind of be used to write it off. Okay, which isn't a good thing. It's not a good thing, but at the end of the day, that's the type of series Fairy Tail is. Stuff doesn't necessarily always make sense, but that's what makes it Fairy Tail, because stuff doesn't make any sense. Okay, so yeah, Ultear is here. She's fighting. Why? Because Fairy Tail. That's why. Okay, it's like because wrestling. For those of you who are wrestling fans, you may notice that whenever something doesn't make sense in wrestling, people use the excuse because wrestling. Like if someone's chasing someone and they exit the ring and the guy, like, it's like there's an invisible wall preventing them from running after the person. You know, the bad guy will back at the heel, they'll back out of the ring and start backing up towards the ramp, and the good guy, the babyface, will just sit there in the ring going back and forth like, so I'll get you. Like, why not just get them now? You can't just go through the ropes and go after them, you know? Like, people ask, well, why don't they just go after them? Well, because wrestling, that's why. So this is like wrestling right now, Fairy Tail. So why does this make sense? It doesn't, just because Fairy Tail, that's why. Alright, so that's that's that. Alright, now, after all that nonsense, alright, Demaria's armor kind of just gets destroyed and disappears, and she activates Takeover, God Soul. Okay, so she has the same magic as Mira Jane and her siblings, alright, and she used it to take over Kronos, the goddess of time, which how exactly one would go about locating a goddess of time, I have no idea. Apparently, Demaria is a descendant of this ancient clan that could harness the power of the goddess of time or something. How like it's fairy tale. It's fairy tale, man. This is the perfect chapter to just explain to people what fairy tale is like. You know, it's just what goddesses coming out of nowhere. Hey, where are all the other goddesses? What you know? What about is freaking Zeus over here or something? Like is Zeus gonna come out of nowhere from like inside of Lax's body and say I'm actually a thunder dragon and I was sealed inside of it? Like I just don't even like literally anything can happen in fairy tale at this point, and I'll just be like, well, that's fairy tale. Like it's at that point now. It's at that point now. It really is. Okay. But anyway, Demaria shoots this beam. I guess it's a beam, like a light beam or some just energy beam or something like that. And it hits Charl. And she was dying, but Ultear prevented her from dying by allowing time to freeze her again. This actually, believe it or not, this actually does make sense. Because if you actually try to respect the logic that Hiro Mashima is trying to use, Ultear Demaria froze time so that none of them could move, but Ultear is using her power to allow the others to move in frozen time. But if she stops using her power on them, they would go back to being frozen the way Demaria wanted. So that technically does make sense for her to stop using her power on Charl and to prevent her from continuing to die. Okay, so that actually does make sense a little bit. All right. However, what happened next, I'm kind of iffy about. Ultear says that she only has a little bit of time left, and you can see her body starting to crack. So I'm thinking, like, wait, so what? So how? What? Like, what do you mean you only have a little bit of time left? Like, if we try to use the logic that Hiro Mashima, I'm using way too much brain power for this. So Ultear was what, in her early 20s, let's say, and oh, she was actually, it was 7 years later, so it's probably like late 20s, early 30s, let's say. But now she's clearly an old woman, so she's got like decades of time sealed away in frozen time. So how could she be almost out of time? It's been like a minute and a half. Like, you've got to, like, how powerful must this technique of hers be that allows other people to wait, first of all, can't she use this technique on herself to, like, allow this version of herself to, you know what, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why I'm trying to make sense of it. I really don't. I just have to accept the fact that for some reason, Ultear has used up all of her power already, okay? I have to just accept the fact that she can't use her power on herself and allow young Ultear to actually walk around and find old Ultear and maybe like do a freaking fusion dance or something, you know, and go back to normal or whatever. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a fusion dance. I honestly, nothing surprises me at this point after this chapter. Nothing surprises me. Speaking of nothing surprises me, Third Origin, okay? Third Origin. She tells Wendy and Sharia that they can use Third Origin to essentially become Gon Freaks from Hunter x Hunter, pretty much, alright? And they'll be able to grow to their highest potential of power or whatever, except afterwards they won't be able to use Nen again. I mean, use magic again, okay? And of course, this is shonen, right? So, just like Mira Jane found a way to get her powers back, just like Uryu, you know, remember in Bleach, Uryu lost his Quincy powers forever, but not really, because he got them back, okay? Like, this is shonen, so, you know, obviously, they're going to find a way to get Sharia her magic power back, because Sharia is the one who ends up using Third Origin. Wendy wanted to be the one to use it, but Demaria dominated her, and then she realized, oh wait, I'm not actually using Third Origin. Sharia is the one with Third Origin, and this was just a diversion for her to get Third Origin. Okay, so whatever. She's a God Slayer, so it makes sense for her to be the one to defeat a god. She ends up three-shotting Demaria. I think it was 3 shots. I tried to count, maybe I missed something, but it looked like Demaria got hit 3 times and got knocked out. So much for a goddess of time, alright? Even if you're a god slayer, it should take more than 3 hits to defeat a freaking goddess combined with a freaking one of the 12 Spriggans, okay? These dudes are supposed to be OP, and now they're getting 3-shotted. Like, Mm. Anyway, chapter 477. Yeah, because that's really all you need to hear from chapter 466 or 476. All right, chapter 477. Jacob Lesio. He shows up at the guild. All right, and he starts talking with them. Blah 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 blah. So I specialize in assassination. Never failed an assignment. Blah blah blah. In other words, it means he's going to fail here. If you've never failed before and you're a villain, it means you're about to fail because it's shonen, and that's what happens. Okay. Though he does start off well, I'll tell you. He does start off well. He uses space magic to make all the fairy tale members disappear, except for Mavis because she's a ghost. But he's somehow able to see her. I don't know how, but somehow he's able to see her. And he starts attacking her as well. He is attacks hit for some reason, and he's interrogating her, trying to figure out where her main body is. But Horologium actually ended up saving Lucy and Happy and unconscious Natsu. So Lucy comes, oh, Happy came out too, but Lucy comes out and starts to fight him, not really. And it looks like she's going to fight him. She gets like one attack in, or she either got one attack in or she saved Mavis. Well, both really. But the point is she doesn't actually get the fight anymore because Natsu wakes up and saves her because shonen. Alright, and it looks like Natsu has no effects of learning his brother is evil. Well, not evil, but you know what I mean. He perceived as evil. Alright, but yeah. Lucy goes to fight, but not really because she gets saved by Natsu. He's up, and now he's about to fight Jacob Lesio. And that's that, you guys. Fairy Tail, Fairy Tail. I can't even assign a rating to these chapters, to be honest. I can't do it. How am I supposed to assign a rating to chapter 475? How am I supposed to do that? Seriously. Like, you know, it's... Yeah, I'll try. 475, I'll give a 4 out of 10 because it was just all, that's probably being generous, but it was just so all over the place and just whatever. Chapter 476, I'll give a 6 out of 10 too because not much really happened. So nothing good happened, but nothing bad happened either. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Okay, and then 477, I'll give a 6 out. Oh, I'll give that a 6.5. Because the stuff with Lucy and Natsu and Happy was just like, okay, Fairy Tail, here we go again. But the stuff in the beginning with Jacob Leslie, he actually got stuff done and actually looked somewhat decent for a villain. So yeah, there we go. 4 out of 10. 6 out of 10 or 4.5, whatever, I forgot. 4 or 4.5 out of 10. I don't really care. At this point, I don't care. 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, and 6.5 out of 10. There you go. That's Fairy Tail, you guys. Rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at BlacklistOTA, and I will see you guys next time.